Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday. It is 10:53 in the morning. So no, it is not our normal 2:30 time, but that's because we're headed into a holiday weekend. And so we wanted to get to you a little bit earlier today. For those of you just joining us, this is AARP North Dakota. I'm Josh Askvig, State Director. With me, as is always with me, except for the last 2 weeks. She flew solo 2 weeks ago. I flew solo last week. Is Janelle Moss, our Advocacy Director. Janelle, good to see you.
You too. It seems strange that we're both on at the same time. So
we've seen a lot of each other at a distance, obviously, and masked at the Capitol. But good to have you and be together again on our All Things Advocacy on Friday. Janelle, a lot has been happening, but a lot has also not been happening at the Capitol. But there was some action this week on two of our prescription drug bills, 2209 and 2212. So do you want to give folks an update on what happened this week?
yeah, you're right. I think we're at the point in the legislative session where there's a lot of sitting and waiting, and good conversations have been happening. But like you said, 2212, which is the study resolution, did come out with a favorable recommendation from the House Human Services Committee. So they seem committed and interested and willing, that it's an important piece that they want to study during the interim. So what is driving up costs and how can they look at potential solutions going into the next session? But unfortunately, the importation bill, which is 2209, came out with a do not pass recommendation. And it's been a long battle this legislative session, looking at, why is it important to look at creating a program to import drugs from Canada? But unfortunately, the committee is not supporting that bill, but one out of two, we're still in good shape. So keep fighting, keep sharing your stories, I think is what we're encouraging you to do. So
two things just to unpack that a little bit more. I think the encouraging news from the committee, obviously the bad news is 2209 getting a do not pass, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what folks can do to try and, that's not the end all be all. We still have the House floor vote coming up probably next week sometime related to that. So we'll talk about that in a second about what folks can do. But on 2212, I mean, the good news was they actually made the study even a little bit stronger, if I recall correctly, in terms of they turned it from an optional study into a must study as well. And while that's nuanced and a little bit in the weeds, I think that's an important distinction that, as you referenced, they recognize this is not an issue that's going to go away. It's not an issue that they don't. It's an issue they think they need to dig into further going forward. And so if there was a positive out of the two actions, I thought that was a really, really good, important step to see and do. So since we're talking about prescription drugs, we haven't talked about our other two bills in a while. Senate Bill 2170, which is the price importation bill, and House Bill 1032, which is the prescription drug transparency bill. There was kind of some action on 2170 a couple weeks ago, and again, we had a reference to. Can you just talk about where those are at and what's happening with those, Janelle?
Well, the good news is those two bills are technically still alive. So they're still in committee. There are still really critical discussions happening, both with the Senate Human Services Committee around prescription drug transparency, or House Bill 1032, and in 2172. I think we've just hit pause on both of those. What we've learned is that there is a general support and commitment to know that a study, while very important and a good first step, there needs to be some other work that is supported through 1032 that will look at how can we shed light on what is causing the increase in drug prices. So what we want everybody to know is that at this point in the legislative session, it's good to know that we still have two other bills, two other avenues for putting pressure on drug prices that are alive and well, and will be considered and discussed in committee next week. So.
A great pivot. Thank you for that update. I think folks were just wondering, there was a lot of action and then pause. And again, I think you referenced that at the start. This is that point of the session where it's hurry up and wait, hurry up, wait, hurry, wait, go. A lot of starts and stops. And so don't be surprised if in the coming weeks you get a lot of urgent action requests from us, or a couple of them. And it's likely because things are going to show up quickly, and we're going to have a little bit of little short windows to do action and try and help support. So what does next week look like? Talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to next week and planning to do there.
So next week, the shift and the focus is on subcommittee work. So we're watching and listening to the conversations that are happening regarding the Department of Human Services budget, and continuing to make sure that there's funding in there to help home and community-based services, food programs, making sure that you can stay in your home and your community longer. Those conversations are in good shape. We're going to continue to put pressure and make sure that those prescription drug bills look good and really support what we've been pushing all along is how do we put pressure and lower the price for consumers. So it's a lot of sitting, but really great conversations are happening, and we're really looking forward to continuing that next week. So.
Excellent. So Janelle, what should people do? If they want to help out, if they want to make sure their legislator knows they support prescription drug relief specifically, or any other issues? What should they be doing? What do you want them to do?
It's never too late. Even if you've contacted and had good conversations with your legislators, they still need to hear from you. Continue to share your stories, share the action alert that we have out there that Josh is sharing with all of you. Make sure that they know that we're still here and that we're still watching, and that what they do really has an impact on your daily life. So share that message with your legislators, share it with your friends and your family, and just continue to let them know that really passing good prescription drug legislation this session is important to you and others across the state. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you watching on Facebook or on YouTube, I posted the link in the comments section, so hopefully you can get to it. Maybe having a little hitch, and so we'll fix it to make sure you can just click on it. That link actually will allow you to send a message both to your senator. 1032 will be coming shortly to the Senate floor, I would guess sometime next week. We actually thought it would happen this week, so the fact that didn't get there means it's even more likely next week. And then Janelle already gave you an update on 2209 going to the House floor. It's not on the schedule for Monday, but likely early next week. So with that, Janelle, anything else you want to update folks on or share regarding advocacy work?
No, it's been a great legislative session, and we're almost there. So thank you for all your support, and we really appreciate you tuning in and reaching out to your legislators. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Easter, or have a great holiday weekend for everybody. Hope you get some time with your family, if it's safe to do so, obviously. And looking forward to seeing you next week. And I just want to echo what Janelle said. Thanks for all the work you've done thus far. Keep it up. We got a few more weeks left, and we will see you next Friday for All Things Advocacy. Have a great weekend.
Bye.